Hello friends, Alan Carey Solorzano coming to you today with a few tips that we've learned over the past 13 years that we've been using oils. And today we're going to be focusing on, okay, our Essential Rewards order just came in. We've got a bunch of oils. How do we get them into our inventory? How do we get them labeled? What does that look like? And then what happens when our oil bottles go empty, or what we think are empty? What do we do with our empties or almost empties? And then how do we store our oils? So let's start off with, okay, it's just been Christmas like every month, and we just opened up our Essential Rewards box, and now we have a bunch of oils. So what I do is I will lay them all out, and if there's multiples of any oils, then I just put them all together. So I'm doing one of the same kind of label. I'm just labeling everything that's the same all at once. It just maximizes my efficiency. And this is anywhere from several months. Sometimes we get oils in and we use them right away and they get in the inventory right away. Sometimes they just take a little bit longer. So these are the ones that are not labeled right here that I'm working on labeling. And then these are the ones that I've already labeled, and then I will put them in alphabetical order. Now they're ready for Al to then put in our cases to put away. Now some of our oils, they don't, like our Red Shot, we don't have stickers for them. So what we do is we got fine tip Sharpie markers in a whole bunch of different colors, and then I will label them in whatever the color label it is, or something that makes sense to me.
Corresponding.
Yeah, corresponding colors. And so we do it that way, because I found that when I tried to write on the white labels, the empty ones here, they don't stay very well, especially when we put them in the cases. They rub off really easily, and that wasn't working for us. So I think we're on to you, dear.
Yeah, so when it comes to, okay, your oils are getting close to empty, and so especially when we travel, like we want to make sure that we have full oil bottles all the time. So I'll go through the main case here. So I'll go through each oil, check to see how full they are. And if they're getting close to empty, what I'll do is I'll toss the almost empty one over here on the side and grab a full one to put in there to make sure that we're full loaded, ready to go. So obviously that means our empties pile up after time. And so what we'll do is when Carrie's sitting down to do oil organizing, I'll go through and pull out a bunch of the same ones. So like today I have Panaway, Lavender, Thieves, Peppermint, Valor, and a little bit of Roman Cameo for just kind of showing. And what I'll do is I'll grab the one that's fuller from the case, and I'll grab the ones that I've found inside the empties, or almost empty, and to combine them. And so once you open your full one, you have to be really careful to make sure that obviously you're dealing with a lot of open oil there. And so this is one that I've already taken the stopper cap off, and so it's just a matter of carefully getting the extra drops. So you can see this one easily is getting 2, and then you just got to be super duper patient, because we have a third one wanting to come out. And so we're going to speed it up just by going along the side, and that helps pull the oil out.
So now that that bottle's empty, right? There's no more oil?
Well, there's always a little bit more left, so I'm going to highlight on Carrie's arm over here. Wait till we get the last little bit of getting the suction, just by dabbing it. And so it's kind of a funny little suction method, and you do for about 10-15 seconds, and you'd be amazed at how much oil you get off.
I can't see any of I don't know if that's showing.
Yeah, it's showing. And so that gets the little last remnants of oil off. So now that bottle is super duper close to empty.
But it's still not empty.
So now we still have the orifice reducer, and this is where you can actually get a lot of oil just by suctioning out the last little bits of oil out of there. You just kind of roll it around, tap it, and then there's actually one more place to get oil. Just by sticking your finger in there, you can get the little bit out that's kind of stuck inside the top there. And now that is effectively empty.
So a lot of times we'll put it on my arm, but a lot of times we'll just put it on my spine or the kids' spines, and because the back is a great place to put oils. So that is one place that so that's one way we just maximize the oils.
And then of course I always save the bottle, so I have boxes of oil, empty bottles over here, my 5s and my 15s. So that for whatever reason I need to perhaps give a sample out to somebody, I'd rather use an original Young Living bottle where maybe I put 10 drops in there or 5 drops, whatever the situation calls for, to make sure someone has a good sampling and it's easier to get the oils out of, and it's beautifully
I
labeled
love
already.
those little, like, tiny little bottles that come in our starter kits, but I have a heck of a time getting those oils out, and if I'm frustrated getting them out, I don't want a brand new person who hasn't experienced Young Living essential oils to have issues. So we'd rather give them a bottle. And so here is our empties that we're working on right now to fill.
No, those
Or
are
the,
the empty
or
empties.
the empty empties, but we're filling those boxes. And then we have a bunch of other boxes that we have, we'll dump those into larger storage boxes. So we, in our household, we never throw oil bottles away. And there is a very key, can you pull that out? There is a very key verse, chapter in the Bible from 2 Kings 4, and it talks about the widow. I'm done with the Bible. So there was a widow, and her husband died. Obviously, that makes her a widow. And so she was talking with Elisha, and they were having this conversation, and her husband had owed money or whatever the currency of the day was to somebody else. And because she couldn't pay that, they were coming to take her sons away. And he said, "Well, what do you have in your home?" And she said, "I don't have anything." And she's like, "I don't have anything but a small bottle of oil." And so he said, "All right, go to all your neighbors and get as many bottles of empty bottles as you can. Don't just get a few, get as many bottles as you can and collect them, then go home, shut the door, and then fill all the oil bottles with your one little bottle of oil." And so her boys went out, collected a bunch of bottles of oil, they closed the door, and so from her tiny little bottle of oil, she filled all these empty jars with oil from this one little bottle of oil. And she turned around to her son and said, "Hey, can I have another bottle of oil?" Or, yeah, another empty jar. And they said, "Mom, there are no more jars." And then the oil ran out. So I don't know, maybe that's just a story, who knows? But I keep all my oil bottles in case there ever comes a time where we might need more oils, and you never know. So can you get the jars that we're gonna just do a quick scan. Can you take control?
Yeah, there we go. Now these are floral waters that we actually got from a harvest years ago.
A couple different harvests. So we have Idaho Blue Spruce floral water, we have Melissa floral water, we have sandalwood floral water, we have balsam fir, cedarwood, and pine floral water. So when we first, and you can come up. So when we first went to harvest, when we had all this excess floral water, we didn't have anything to put it in. So a lot of the distributors, we were going around emptying out bottles of plastic bottles of water, and we would bring in like a case of plastic waters. And we know that we're not supposed to put essential oils in plastic water bottles, but that's all we had at the farm. And then so we got smart. So every time we go to a harvest now, we bring a couple cases of empty quart jars and we fill them with floral water. And there's one missing from these particular cases because I just took a bath in Idaho Blue Spruce just the other day, and it is beautiful. And it's free, guys. So when you guys go to a harvest, because you just got to get to a harvest, you bring quart jars or glass jars or gallon jars, whatever, glass, and you can bring home your own bottles. And it helps that we drive too. We don't have to worry about taking this home on planes. But anyway, especially for our Idaho team, you guys got to drive there, bring your own jars so that you can take your own floral water home. And then I know with empty jars, a lot of times people will also like to fill up a jar like this, a dry jar, fill it with Epsom salts or Dead Sea salts, whatever you want to put, whatever kind of bath salts you want in here. And then you can put a whole bunch of empty bottles in there, and then the salts will absorb the oil from the jars as well. So that's another way to use your empty jars. So that brings us to, I think I'm going to just turn this around.
Okay.
It's not letting me flip the camera around.
That one. That button.
This one?
Mm-hmm. Or not.
Alrighty. So anyway, now we are going to, this is how we store our oils. the reason why we store them in cases is because we travel a lot. And so we don't want to have them on shelves in our home so that every time we have to pack up and go somewhere, we have to take them off the shelf. So these are the oils that we use most often. So all the oils that Young Living has doesn't fit in this case, but this is what we call our main case that has the oils that we use most often. So then we have our secondary overflow case. So this is all the other oils that we don't use as often, but we still use, but they're open. And then these, you can see they are a lot of oils of ancient scripture oils. They're just extras that we have here. These are our Ula oils, and then we have our Kid Sense oils, and we have a couple animal oils there. And then we make up our own formulas, and so we'll have them here as well. Then this is how we store. So there's all the empties that are not quite empty that we still have to go through and combine. So that we do how often, Al? Maybe once every few months or so.
Several months.
So then here is our additional oils in alphabetical order. So here's our A's through C. So these are unopened oils that we just have backups of that we don't stock to sell, though these are for our personal use. And as you can tell, we go through a lot of oils. So then here is our D's through L's. Then lime continued through R's. And then we can't buy these cases anymore. I really love them. So we had an extra insert, so we just made a box out of it. And it looks like we are going to need another one. So anyway, I hope that helps, that you found that beneficial. Did you have any final things?
Nope.
All right.
Happy August.
Hope that helps. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.